We are live. Stuff. Cool. We're out on YouTube and Facebook. Awesome. All right. Good afternoon, folks. This is Paul, the Drums and Rums, where the backbeats meets the spirit. So we're back here. It's been quite some time that you've seen some new episodes from the show. Been a little busy. Again, you follow some of the social media stuff that I do. It gets a little life happens, I guess I'll just say it, right? I've got a great guest today. You're definitely not going to want to miss this. You're going to watch the full entirety of it because there's a lot of things you're going to learn what happened that I probably also missed too from this event, and also hearing about some of the maybe some sneak peek stuff about next year's event, which I know you don't want to miss out. So we're going to get it right into this here. So I want to introduce and welcome to the podcast, returning guest actually, our returning guest, Mr. Neil Lindley. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going? It's like protect our parks too, right?
That yeah, I know. Can you believe that was? I know. So that was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you came out to the episode.
Before we started, this is our third event. Yeah, so
Mhm. So yeah, this is year three, right? You just wrapped up,
yeah,
and also there was I know we were before we went into before the first festival back in 2023. What was it? No, 24, right? Because now it's
24. Yeah,
3, 4, 4, 5, and 6, right?
started all the
We
work
were
at 23, but yeah, 24 is the first one.
right, right. I think I remember bugging you online. I started seeing the social media stuff say, "Hey, what's this Key West Rum Fest? Give me a reason. Don't threaten me with a good time. Come down to
Yeah.
Key West and all that too." So, yeah. Have you recovered yet from? I know it was a lot. Yeah. So
It was a lot. I was tired, but I was going on happy fumes. So
good.
at the end of each day, I was so happy. It was hard to wind down. And then each morning I'd wake up early because I was excited about the day. So I wasn't sleeping that great anyway. But yeah, got through it. And, obviously it's fun. It's something you plan for all year. It's like Christmas morning. You want to get up early when you're a little kid, right? And see what you got in the trees. You don't care about sleeping at that point. So that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. That is all right. This isn't just okay. Let's back up here for those that are maybe new or and familiar maybe with the Key West Rum Festival, right? This is not just your typical rum festival. Um, we were just chatting there a little bit about other rum events that do take place within the state of Florida, and this isn't just one day thing. This is, what do they say? You got to pace yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. Yeah. When I started doing this, I was like, okay, if I'm really going to do the first ever Key West Rum Fest, like I can't just half do it. I was like, I really
Mhm.
want to make sure I go all out. And if I have a full event and it's really big and I have all good stuff, and I think it's something that people would think was well presented to them, maintained well, large enough, not just a couple of small events.
Right.
But if I really went at it, I was like, okay, I can fail if that doesn't work, because I know I really went for it. But it's also
Right.
like the movie, if you build it, will they come? Like there's a lot of times I was having pity parties going, man, nobody's coming to my party, man. Like, what am I going to do? Nobody knows the thing. It's brand new. It's all that type of stuff. And, but yeah,
Yeah.
we've sold out every year at each event, and it seems like it's getting bigger, and seems like people enjoy it. So
Yeah. No, it's most other rum. This is different of again is at least from my perspective, and I'll let you kind of say the branded statement and so forth that how you present it as it's many days of lots of things within Florida. And I think I kind of, on a Facebook post there a couple of weeks ago was saying, yeah, man, Neil should be mayor of Key West, or the tourism and board should, and I'm sure they do help you out a lot. I'm sure, right? They embrace all this to bring tourism into Key West. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like it's a many day event. That obviously it all culminates at the end there with the grand tasting,
yeah.
but there's lots of activities to kind of keep people busy while they're down here in Florida or Key West.
It is the slowest week. School starting that week. National Rum Day happens when National Rum Day happens. Like National Mai Tai happens today, right? So hopefully everybody's doing a Mai Tai. I know I'm gonna be making mine soon. Yeah, I'll do my evening post with that on our social. But one thing I'm really proud of is we've not had any TDC money the last 2 years. That's the Tourist Development Council. So all of our growth the last 2 years has been our investment in our ads, our word of mouth from our people. And it's not been like, money I've gotten a grant for taxpayer money or anything like that. It's all been us doing it with our people, our word of mouth, which is what I want. Honestly, if it's a good time, I'd really like to meet everybody's friends. And, if we all get together, the way I say it, like a rum family reunion, you want your grandma there, your cousins there, the kids, you want everybody there. Yeah. It's nice seeing everybody separate, but when you can see everybody together and we can do that 1 weekend a year where we really all just enjoy each other's time and enjoy some rum and raise money for a great cause too. So,
yeah, no, that's pretty cool because, that is, I think, something, Neil, I got into, we probably talked a lot about this in the last podcast was, I got into it and learned a lot. I think the biggest thing that I take away now, looking back when I started my journey was 6 years ago, was just the people, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how I identify in one certain groups, maybe within the rum community as a larger whole, but just, getting a chance to catch up with you, getting a chance to catch up with like Missy and Joe. And a lot of people don't get to see, throughout the year, and everyone's coming all at one time to a place, have a good time, share a few drinks.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was Christmas morning for you. I don't know how you kept up, bro, is because every day you were at, this thing, that thing out on the boat. And then, so I don't know, man, you ate your Wheaties or been training for something, man.
Well, I figure I was like, look, if I'm going to do this, I really want to be there in the, ring master, whatever you call it, like where, like, I don't want to have an event and then not me be there. So I really feel like if I'm going to do it, I want the events that I would be at, make sure that they're being run well, noticing things, answering questions, enjoying time with people. So that, that's part of that whole busy time, but it's also like, oh my God, I got to go to Snipes Key and drink rum on a boat. And now I got to go to a grand tasting with 40 brands. And now I got to see Jesse Rice in concert. What a long day. Now I got to go to the Tiki House, right? It's
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's where you think you're gonna get a pity party on that, right? Like, oh darn,
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit. Well, let me get a second here. So yeah, as you mentioned, there, National Mai Tai Day. So where's the camera? There we go.
So what rums did you use in your Mai Tai?
So I'm glad you asked. So I used little, obviously Gosling's on top for the dark rum, but I did use, and we'll definitely need to talk about this particular rum, was this special edition, right? So I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about this bottle that I'm holding up there for the camera, because this is only can be gotten, whatever the right word is, in Key West.
Purchase. So it's funny because, I've known Bahama Bob and Sean for years and have been fortunate enough to drink with these two local rum legends. And, getting to taste the white rum off the still that they're making for their products and tasting it and going, that would really be great in a daiquiri. And I was able to actually do that one night. Sean and he came over and we brought some samples with it and I made daiquiris with it. I was like, that's perfect. I was like, obviously, and for everybody that doesn't know, Pilar didn't have a white rum. This is their first ever white rum, but this is not a white rum like you would consider like others or white rums. This is a daiquiri specifically made rum that they've created at the Key West location, 120 proof, lime simple, shake it, pour it up, and it's absolutely amazing. That's what it's designed for. And it seems like it got a really good reception.
Yeah, did it get sold out? Or, I mean, is there, if somebody wanted to jump in a car right now after watching this?
I think they have a handful left. I actually, I tried to grab some last night, but it was too close to closing time. And and dinner was to be had. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go today. And so I was going to try to run up there actually today or tomorrow, and see what I have left. Cause I was like, I need some more rum. I've only got the one bottle, you know, so I want to make sure I have extra that I can serve throughout the year.
Yeah. I think that's the tough part is, right? If you find your favorite rum or really hard to get rum, you want to share it, but you also want to ration some of this too, right?
Well, this is also Distiller's Reserve. So this is not their regular rotation of, you know, the blonde, the dark, the sherry cask that you can get all year everywhere at almost any bar, restaurant around Florida or other states. This is actually a one-time batch that they did, which is specifically released. And they do, you know, a few each year, about 4 or so, where they do different ones, different barrels, different releases.
Yeah, we when I went down last year, I wasn't able to make last year's festival, but I went down, did the episode there with Sean. I brought home some bottles, some of the stuff that you only can get there, Distillers Reserve stuff. But again, not only was that bottle there, I think you saw the post that I did a couple weeks ago, or for Rum Day, and then not let alone, and some of the things here is, my wife actually did better at this than I did. I actually had brought home 4 bottles. Two were actually painted, right? So
Yes.
this is so she's in the book. So you gave the inspiration and say try to do something book related, and so she did a lot better than me. And I won't show you mine because I don't want to embarrass myself actually. But and we'll get into a little bit into it now. But and just kind of like let's talk about this rewind. But one of the things is about that painting event. That was different, that was something a little bit unique, something kind of, and again, it ties into things that you're very involved with, painting also. And it's a fun event, right? Let's drink and paint, right? So what could go wrong with that?
Well, I was like, each year I've done different, what do? I try to do rum related art, rum history, Key West locations, places. I haven't found too many rum artists, and I think that's I guess what my lane is I feel like I'm rum history. Like I just did a tiki one yesterday. But what I wanted to do is, instead of just saying, hey, come meet me at a gallery and look at my art, look at this, I was like, let's do something where we have a relationship. The art's next door, but let's all paint this new bottle, this first release. Let's spend some time sipping daiquiris with it in the Pilar Distillery and the social club there. And then let's all create our own Rum Fest images that we'd like to put on this bottle. So it'd be something you can take home, commemorate. But also the relationships are so important, because every year, hopefully you see a lot of the same people that when you come back. And if we can get together, when you go to a bar or restaurant, you see people sitting at tables and they're not talking to each other. I don't want that. I want us talking to each other, with each other. The relationship part is just as important to me as the rum. And that's what I hope to get out of that one. It was a fun event. It seemed like that video was pretty cool of all the bottles, but I think everybody seemed to enjoy it as well.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. I can definitely tell who's got some really good skills, and that's probably why I play the drums, because I do a lot of just ham jamming, mashing, and my wife's like, no, you don't glop too much. I may need to take an art class or go, something. But yeah, I was.
Well, you can come here. We'll do the rum night, and we'll paint here.
Perfect. Actually, I know I had brought some rum down, and I know you're super busy, so we didn't get a chance. So yeah, we'll definitely. I got to make another trip down there to bring some stuff that I've got.
Formal meeting.
Like that. Yes. Yeah. I know I missed that all during last earlier part of the year was the Rum Festival meetings that you're having every month or something.
Well, I do Rum Night, which is coming up in September. I take a few months off because it's kind of hot, and rum's probably 85 degrees. So starting September, I'm going to be kicking those back off with, a few friends here. And then, each month I try to have the crew over, enjoy rum all year, keep it fresh. Keep my skills fresh, and I think I've got like 700 something rums now, right? So I don't just have them there just to look at. I have them for friends. So private bar, private location, but it's fun to do.
Cool. All right, so let's start this rewind here. So we're talking about August was 10th. I think was that the Monday.
Yeah.
And
well, we really kicked it off Wednesday. We did have some plans for some trips but those got
That's right.
delayed because of what's going on in the world. But yeah, we kicked off Wednesday here with the actually at the Rum Bar was our first event where we did the speakeasy and then Rum Bar, Painkiller. I think we raised $1,000 for the Mark House. I was bartending that event. The first time I'd been in that bar bartending in 3 years. And I think we did like $1,500-$1,700, something like that, in Painkillers in an hour and a half. That was really fun seeing that packed out.
Yeah, we just missed that event. We just got into town, and by the time we got in, I said, all right, well, we're up here, and it was just close to closing there. That first event.
That whole back hallway was filled with people. There was 20 people in that back hallway. So it was fun, Painkillers, what they're noted for, and so I felt it was an appropriate drink for them.
Oh no, for sure. And I think for those that don't know, again, you come down to Key West, there's obviously lots of bars, but the Rum Bar there, I'm not to knock any other bars, you know them better than me, so I'll say it so you don't get in trouble with the locals, but the Rum Bar is very unique because actually it's very catered to exactly that, right? The speakeasy and Rum Bar. It's more on the east side of the island, I guess, right?
Southwest, south is the way I would say, South Duval.
Right. And when I was in there 2 years ago, I was like, oh man, this place is awesome. Look at all this and look at all that. All these things you've ever heard of or wanted to try. But yeah, so that was Wednesday night, and then also Wednesday night you had a sunset cruise as well, too, right?
Yeah, did a daiquiri boat. Before we move on to the daiquiri boat, I labeled when I worked there every country, because like the bottles were everywhere. So I had a label maker, and I labeled each country where all the different countries of origins were. I got a couple paintings that are in there, Bahama Bob paintings in there, a captain there. And then that barrel out front, I painted that barrel as well.
Cool.
But yeah, we did the daiquiri boat. We went to the Hemingway Stilts on Cottrell Key. Went out there with Key West Cocktail Cruise. Had 7 different rum brands. We had Richland, Rum GM, Clement, Chairman's, Pilar, Down Island. Went out there. Jess and I from Coast and Cocktails. We were shaking up the DAC. So so that went great. Everybody seemed to love it. I'm looking at maybe doing the Fury boat. Doing 120 person one next year, because it just seemed like everybody wanted to get on that boat. Nobody could because it only held 50. So bigger and larger, right? So that's your first look into 2027.
Oh, all right. Sneak peek there. All right, cool. All right. So, and we didn't. I said we didn't get a chance to do the sunset cruise, but we did. Went down to Mallory Square. Got something to eat that night and watch the sunset like everyone else. So that was kind of a unique thing.
We had several distillers on the boat. Had Jeff Beachbum-Berry on the boat with us. So I was straw tasting every daiquiri. I was like, if I give Jeff Beachbum-Berry a bad daiquiri, I was like, I couldn't forgive myself. So I was straw tasting. I straw tasted almost everybody. Anyway, even at my house, I do that. It's a habit I learned, because sometimes I have noticed, I was like, ooh, I didn't add enough, juice or simple or whatever it is. So I want to make sure if you have that experience, it's a good drink. So yeah, that was really fun. Definitely want to do it again. I think that was really one of our fun new highlights, because we've never done a daiquiri sunset sail before, so focusing on the daiquiris is important.
Right. Yeah, I guess in speaking of Jeff, right, you this year, and I have to say again, has been someone who's, with the first event, and just seeing every year, you keep stepping up, the game, and bringing in some big names in the rum industry, right? As you mentioned, Jeff, then there was, Greg Hill, Ian Burrell, why am I drawing a blank on Ed Hamilton?
Hamilton, yeah. I mean, but the other thing too is, like, you have those big names, those big national names that people know. Seeing the local distillers like Vicky from Sever Essence and Naughty and all these different brands, Mike Streeter, you see all these people and you're like, that's a celebrity in my eyes, as a person who knows all the different rum brands who are here.
Right.
But Barta, I posted a picture. It was like 7 of us, and I was like, this room is packed with distillers, with Ian and Zan Kong and Jeff. That's another worthy part. All these legends of rum. So, and seeing everybody there together, that to me was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm so glad I did this, because just seeing that we can pull everybody together, enjoy that time, and building those relationships is great.
Right. Yeah. So that's so all right. So you made acceptable daiquiris for some of these folks that are
Mhm.
you look up to in that sense. So then, but
Mhm.
then now like any good stories from the Sunset Cruise, or is that whatever happens on the Sunset Cruise stays on the Sunset Cruise?
Yeah, no, I mean it was a beautiful sunset. One of the things you always worry about, especially any time of year, but rain, weather, heat, all those
Yeah.
type of things. Is it gonna fit? And it actually, I think it's one of the best times, honestly, to come down here because not only is it a thing where we are enjoying, rum together. Summer's almost over. Labor Day is here in a week or so, and
Right.
that's a different crowd than necessarily than our crowd. That's a specific crowd, but enjoying the end of summer. In October last year, I think it was 40 degrees across, I don't know, 40 something states was in the freezing to 40-degree range. Even North
Right.
Florida was in the 40s. So, if we can just enjoy these last couple of weeks, get in the water, do a lot of water events too, drink some rum, which, I'm going to be building on that next year too.
Cool. Yeah, it definitely is. We live, as I say, we live in paradise here. And again, even though, I'm up here in West Palm Beach area for 4 hours apart. It's a big
Mhm.
state, but there's so much. I mean, that's yeah, both you and I are big proponents of supporting, Florida where we live and sharing it with people. Um, yeah, the nighttime cruise, yeah, it can get still to get warm, but again, being out there on the boat, I mean, you can never have a bad time. What they say is a bad day on a boat is better than a good day at the office, something like
Yeah,
that, right?
it
So,
really wasn't that bad. Once you get to
yeah,
that sunset sail time, once you're on the boat and you're heading
right,
out, you're good. But yeah, and then we started
right,
Thursday. That was, you dropped some names: Ed, Ian, and Jeff. We did our rumposium at the Casa Marina Resort for Henry Flagler. Built the train to Key West. That was supposed to be the shining jewel that he would have when you arrived on his train, and it's still there. It's over 100 years old. We had our lunch there, 5-course lunch. Corey from the Maikai came down, was making the drinks for us while Ian, Ed, and Jeff did their class. Everybody got pictures with them. That was an amazing class. That was probably, to me, the biggest rum event from my
mhm,
perspective in Key West
okay,
history.
okay,
I mean, Ian's the number one rum communicator in the world. Like when you win the International Wine and Spirits Competition Communicator of the Year, and you have that person at your class, but you also have a famous tiki author like Jeff Beach Bumberry, Ed Hamilton. That's,
mhm,
to me, I was like, that's just a squad there. When
yeah,
you think of, we were arguing. I was arguing basketball with Ian Burrell one night. We are talking about our top 5 NBA players. We are arguing over that. I would put those guys in the top 5 of my, the
there you
rum
go.
people in the world. Yeah.
This is Neil's dream team, the rum dream team.
I mean, that's the magic too. Is like talking with
Yeah,
Ian about basketball, right? Because we both played basketball in high school.
it's something
Um,
different. Yeah,
and building those relationships where you're not just going, hey, Ian, what's the mark on this Jamaican, or what's the Coroni story? That's not necessarily what you have to get
right,
into, with every
right.
conversation with people.
Right. You want to. There's other things in their lives besides just
Yeah.
rum, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
So
relationships. That's what I
yeah,
want. I want us to all enjoy people, meet people. Even I was like,
right,
don't talk to them about everything rum. Talk to them about them, who they are, their life, their
right.
families. Get to know them on a personal level. That's the magic.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so we did that morning. We did the Marsh House pool party. Marsh House Rums and New Orleans Rum. They came heavy again this year. I went to college with Chris Puckett, one of the
Mm,
owners of that brand. We were fraternity brothers. So yeah, they went heavy. They came down, and then we went from there. We had the paint class, which you did at the Pilar Distillery.
yeah.
Then we did our sunset sail with First Legal again. Corey Hayden band on the Fury boat, 125 people. Always a great time. We do that each year. Yeah, and then we did our after party, which I was talking about at the Tiki House. With that
Mhm.
I had not seen that Tiki House that full, even like in season, like Fantasy Fest, because it was all rum people. The back bar slam
Mhm.
packed with heavy hitters, so it was cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We went. I think we were in there Wednesday night, and I know there wasn't anything specifically going on. I mean, I think maybe there was a distiller thing because
Hmm.
Jess from Naughty was there, Zhang,
Yeah.
so Worthy Park. It
Hmm.
wasn't as busy, but yeah, that night we popped in there.
Yeah, there are other things that are not Rum Fest, my website related,
Right.
that also pop up, which are great. Do those things,
Yeah.
build up the town. So yeah, that was great. And then Friday, Saturday, what else did we do? We did the sandbar trips again. We did the Naughty Bombarda Friday to Snipes Key. and then we did Marsh House Saturday. So what is that sandbar trip? That is a full bar, unlimited drinks, Snipes Key. Imagine 10 football fields of knee deep and below, crystal clear water, live music with Dawson Wright music. I am looking at something bigger next year. You know, I've been working on Leon at the Soggy Dollar Bar. I'm trying to get him down here, and I'm considering stepping that one up. So maybe we do a soggy grand tasting next year. Maybe we do a Friday, several boats, not just the 1 or 2 boats that I've done each year. Maybe we're looking at a couple hundred people out there. That's what my vision is. Can I pull it off? That's another thing. But imagine 15 brands or, you know, specific brands that are out there. Maybe a Cliff Cody, Charisse concert out there live with food, things like that. Step it up a little bit. That'd be different. And a soggy grand tasting. That's why I need Leon here to make it soggy, right? He's the head bartender at the Soggy Dollar Bar down there at Yost Van Dyke. So, those sticks are in the fire, and you know, conversations are being had. So, but I still think we can do some sort of a larger event there with more brands and more food and things.
Yeah, and because I remember I guess it was that Friday, and you'd asked me, you know, I've never been out up to Snipes Key before, and all that, and you know, and you're right, it's exactly if you're not from here, it's exactly what you think of the Keys. You're out there, you're like, I'm out here way far away from, it seems like, everything. It's so chill. There's other boats there and people, and again, that's what it's all about in the Keys. And you know, I know we had a great time, you know, on the boat there. I know we went to I tried, they were trying to get me to go up on the swing, and I was like, no, it's low tide. There's no way I'm going to pull a muscle trying to get my leg up there. I'm like, no, because I don't want to be like,
you can lean on it. Yeah. But, you know, like, that's the back country. I do try to tell people that, you know, Key West, people think it's just Duval Street. It's just, you know, those places that, you know, there. I don't think that's just what Key West is. I think you have to get off island. You have to go to the back country, pass those Bubba sticks on the way out to all these different amazing sandbars, and go out there and hang out and have live music and build these relationships. You know, it seems like every time we have those 50 people on those boats, they all know each other at the end of the boat ride. Everybody's dancing, having a good time, riding back. You built those relationships, and that's the magic of the week, is you start to know people. You build those times you see them over and over again. It's more comfortable, and that's what I'm shooting for. Yep.
We've got here John Molesworth had said that lunch event was awesome. So
oh yeah, I know John. Hey John. Yeah, that's another person I met. You know, he and his wife. You know, hanging out with them all week. There was several different events. You know, the food was great at every place. Like, every place hit it. Casa Marina hit a home run. Four Flamingos hit a home run. Hot Tin Roof hit a home run with their brunch. You know, trying to pick different spots, and then, you know, also trying to work with different chefs, different restaurants, making everybody feel involved, and not just doing the same thing every year. Similar, but maybe a little different spins on different things, like the painting class, like the different restaurants. You know, that Four Flamingos dinner, you know, Chef Leo was Messi's personal chef. And he was the one that did that dinner that we had, looking at Sunset Key as the sun setting, you know, before, you know, concert, rum cake competition, all that. Cool.
It's now I'll wait till you get to Friday night, or through Friday. But yeah, because the meal that I had with the Papa Pilar event was just like, you know, and I'm not normally a foodie, and it was just like, wow, this is an amazing. It was an amazing event, amazing, meeting some new people.
I had them, yeah. I mean, we did other things too, though. Like, we had the book signing. So Judy Bloom has a bookstore. You know, when everybody here is children, Books and Books is her bookstore right there on Eaton Street, across from the theater. So I was like, okay, if I have Judy Bloom, I have authors. Let's put everybody together. So we did the book signing there at Down Island. All 4 of those authors: Greg Hill, Jeff Beachbum-Berry, Ian Burrell, and Sean Martin. Sean Dean is his pen name. He writes some books down here in Key West. He makes the Pilar rum. So yeah, they were all there. We had that tasting, and then we had, you know, the mojito party going on that you probably went to at the Shores Pool with Naughty. But I was at the Jesse Rice VIP concert. So we did a small 60-person VIP event where, you know, he did more of the slower songs, more conversation, more meet and greet, take pictures with everybody. So we did that this year, and then the dinner, of course. And then that evening, our rum cake competition. We had 13 rum cakes this year, vying for the belt. I was talking to Cliff Cody last night. He's a good friend of mine, and he was performing that night. He was our mystery contestant.
Oh,
and
okay.
he was asking me about the belt. So I could give you a trophy, but I was like, a plaque is lame. A trophy is a little bit less lame. So I gave it like a WWF belt. But I was like, Cliff, I've got a turnbuckle from the WWF that has not been listed in a year, signed by Hulk Hogan. So yeah, I mean,
oh wow,
yeah. When you get into that background and stuff, I was like, just trying to bring up some fun things, and that everybody wanted the belt. So Chef Mike won it this year. But Cliff and Sharice, they performed 3 years for me for those events. So we did that. And then afterwards, we had Sloppy Joe's party there. They did their huge. It was so packed you could barely walk in the door there at Sloppy Joe's. At 10 o'clock at night. And then we also had Jessica's and Cocktail. Daniele, we're over at Hank's. They were doing some Florida Cognac, like a pop up there. It was just an amazing evening. So yeah, Saturday morning, got up. This was the big day. This is think of Saturday for a rum fest is like Halloween. Halloween is usually the day, but if it's a Tuesday, Halloween is the Saturday where you're getting dressed. So it was the 15th this year, the day before National Rum Day. But we did, our Marsh House nights again, our grand tasting, close to 40 brands there at the theater. 100% of that money went to the Mark House. I think we're around $85,000 so far raised for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the Florida Keys. It's the Monroe Association of Remarkable Citizens. So I was talking to Ed Hamilton about that, and he goes, of all the events I've been to, I've never seen a festival that actually supported a charity with this event. I was like, that's what my background was. So that's where my heart goes to is that community. But it's also, if you come, you're not just drinking rum, you're helping people with intellectual and disabilities. They really need the funds. It's always tight for them each year. So anything we can do to help them. They've been a great organization. I deliver their Christmas trees every year. So like they decorate Christmas trees, and I'm the one that delivers them to you down here. Gets me in the Christmas spirit a little bit too. I was listening to Mariah Carey the other day in the gym. So like I'm ready for Christmas. So yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's bad. I put my Christmas tree up usually right before Halloween each year, so it's pretty bad. But I was Santa Claus for years for children with disabilities, and I would go out and dress up as Santa. So like that's always been a fun thing. My kids love it too. So So we did the grand tasting, and then afterwards, we had the sold out Jesse Rice concert at the Key West Theater. Why Jesse Rice? Who is Jesse Rice? For people who have never heard of him, you may know his song "Cruise" by Florida Georgia Line he wrote, but all of his songs are about rum or Key West. They're called the Pirate Sessions. Pirate Session 6 is coming out soon. Definitely check out Haze of the Rum, Bacardiologist, Raining in Key West, Go Away Cloud, Key West Time. There's all these great songs. Hammock in Havana, Sand in My Seat. Like he's an amazing artist. He sells out really quick. If I gave you any advice about following, I put the tickets up before year end last year. I may do that again around Thanksgiving time because people like to give Christmas presents, and if you can give someone a present under the tree that goes, hey, we're going to go to see Jesse Rice next summer. Here's a present. That's a fun way to take a Christmas present. So so he's going to do 2 shows next year. 2 full shows, I think, is what we're looking at. Got some different ideas about how we can mix that up. And then after that, we did our Margaritaville after party where he performed this year. Too Drunk to Meet Jimmy Buffett is one of his songs, so that fit perfectly at Margaritaville. And it's first time doing an event with them. Finally, what else did we do this year? We had Ed Hamilton do an agricultural class at Hot Tin Roof Saturday for the people who are not water people. You stay in AC and just maybe do a class. And then Sunday we also did Rum Church. So Bahama Bob, who my figurehead is, he's a local guy down here who had worked at the Rum Bar for years. That's where I met him, and he's the one I mentioned earlier about the painting I did of him. But he's like my figurehead of what kind of kicked off what I think Rum Fest is. he was the one that started teaching people when he'd bartend about what rum was. He wasn't just a bartender and give you a good drink. He'd actually tell you a story about it. And that's my type of thing. Is I do behavior management training still, and my background is in teaching people. So like I'm kind of in the nerd part of it. I think I've listened to And a Bottle of Rum by Wayne Curtis, like his audiobook 12, 14 times at least, just because every time I listen to it, I'm like, I don't remember that. That sounds new. That's a fun story that refreshes you. So yeah. So we do rum church Monday.
You're a rum educator. Is that an educator and rum? Can we jam that together?
Whatever you want to call me. I've been called worse. So yeah. So you know, what is that? You know, we partied all week. It's Sunday. A lot of times people are heading out. That's where you can have a nice brunch, last rum church class get together, and enjoy that time and looking at Sunset Key, saying goodbye to everybody, and having like a 5-course lunch, 5 different drinks. It's just a great way to wrap it up. That and the pirate pool party at Captain Morgan's we do. So
yeah. So we got a couple of comments here. Neil, again, John was mentioned there was sorry I missed the book event. Probably was out off somewhere, probably drinking rum, right, John? That's I guess that's an okay excuse. He was wondering if he delivered to Vermont, so I'm not quite sure what he's got to deliver. Maybe it's the PLR, but not sure. Anthony State says, Neil, it's still August. Put Mariah away. And then John's looking for where he can get a cardiologist hat. So I'm sure probably somebody. You gotta.
Yeah. So a couple guys made some cardiologist hats that Jesse autographed. So those were auctioned off. I think they had one more that they're going to auction off maybe next year. People really pitch in. That Bacardiologist hat that they made was not my idea. They put Bacardiologist, Haze of the Rum, 90 Proof and Sunshine, like they put everything on there, and people really get into Jesse Rice's music. Jesse and I were talking before the concert. I was like, I can't wait till you do Hammock in Havana. It's one of these great things. We're like, you know what? Let's get like a couple hundred red bandanas. So when he started playing, I had a bag of red bandanas that I passed out to everybody. We got some good shots of that on our social media. That red bandana seems to be what I feel like kind of what No Shoes is to Kenny Chesney, turning into that kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know what we had weren't able to stay the full time all the way through, so as you know, you got kids in college, so we had to head back up early Saturday morning, but definitely is, like I said, it's there's Key West Rum Festival, there's everything for at any level for everybody, right? You want to do this, you want to do that, and everything all goes to the good cause, the mark. Again, just being in Key West. So it's amazing. It's great to see the grand tasting from pictures and things I've seen. Has just it's just great to see it, the growth of it, and then also the Key West the Key Lime contest, right? First year, I entered one, and again we weren't no professionals or whatever. Rum cake, the cake, and the rum cake, and we're like, and then we were like, I went back home and said, we're up against some
what, that's another way to experience rum. Like, I don't want it just to be us drinking, painting, art, things like that, but music is something related to rum tangent, rum cake, desserts, all these different ways to use the product in different ways, and also enjoy, our time together, fellowship, stuff like that. So for sure. Rum Fest doesn't sleep. It's one of these things like I'm wrapping up and I'm getting everything away, but I'm also thinking, okay, I need to have my sponsorships up. I usually try to have those available by November 1st so people can view them, see if it's going to fit within their schedule for the following year, so people can purchase them January 1st. So I've already reached over, I think I'm close to 60 other brands, not the ones that have already attended. What is that? It's me getting the word out that everybody's welcome. And I really want every brand to feel like they have a home here, and it's not just like, something specific of what I'm looking for brand wise. I'd like every brand. I've got a couple names that said they're coming next year that have not been yet, and to me they're big gets for the grand tasting. And so continuing to feel, invite people, feel like I can get the word out that way, but also trying to envision what it looks like in the next year, what supports I can put in for myself. You know, you said you saw me running around. I am going to be looking to put some supports in, because my goal initially was just to get this thing up and running, and I feel like I've done that. But now my next goal is I really want this to be a product that lasts after me. I think the worst thing that could happen for me would be if I ever got to a point where my health or a family member, like I had to maybe not be able to do it, is that I would want it to continue. That would be the thing that would be the neatest, is maybe I do come back as an old man and it's still going on and I get to see that. That would be kind of neat. So I'm trying to put supports in place. I'm also trying to make some changes where it's more business savvy. You know, when you're starting something new, you can overcharge, you can expect too much, and then it could just fizzle out. I want a great product at a great price with great service, hopefully, and a great cause. And I feel like if we do that, it'll grow. But I also feel like, you know, now that we're in a place where maybe we've got over that first hump, we can put some more long-term structure in place, so it does become not just a Neil Lindley type of thing, but, you know, there's more people who are interested in helping and pitching in. Anthony has done all my IT support, and like I don't know how to put a link of a whatever on a website, you know. So I was like, you know, but I'll tell you the, you know, any rum story you want to hear. But, you know, he has the technical skills that I don't have. But there's other people who have skills or things like doing financial management and ads that are legal within, you know, some grant money we're getting. So yeah, building that team, but also outreach. And we've been averaging, you know, I said 500,000 for the last 2 weeks. We were pushing 540,000 every single day. Today, I think it was like 512, 515, somewhere in that range of how many people are still looking at our social media each day in that 28 range average. So yeah, that's good to see. That's fun. And it's also, invite your friends. I need word of mouth. This is word of mouth. I really appreciate you being, you know, like, what am I doing? I think I'm a hype man for the brands and the people who, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I think you're doing that same thing. You're celebrating all these relationships. You're part of the glue that pulls everybody together. The different authors, the podcasts that are out there, we're all trying to support each other. And I feel like if we all support each other, like I was talking to the new president of the Florida Spirits Trail, you know, there's a Spirits Trail. You can go all the different distilleries in Florida. I was talking with him yesterday, just about ways we can support each other, making sure that all those local distillers feel invited. And getting them down here. So if you guys don't have it, there's an app that you can download online, Florida Spirits Trail app, and download that. They're a great group. That's all the local distillers in Florida. If you want to get down here and you're in town, you can see who and where to go.
Yeah. No, and like I said earlier, there is the Florida Spirit Trail is, there's so many companies. Again, when I got into this deal in, you know, 5 years, 6 years ago, and people always ask, well, how'd you end up in the name, and why is that name? And it's like, well, it says two things I liked, you know, or do, and it rhymed. And then, but I've learned so much from talking to, you know, my guests, and learning so much. I went into this and just thought, oh, there's this bottle. Oh, well, where's your distillery? How do you? It's like, you know, again, learning about contract distilling. I didn't even know that was a thing, right? And for some that made that decision shouldn't even matter. But you know, those that want to take a little bit further knowledge base on things is great, right? And I always kind of build myself as, hey, look, there's other podcasts that are out there, rum podcasts, things, cool. I feel like at least, hey, maybe my approach to all this is like the shallow end of the pool, get people into the rum pool, ease it in, you know, before trying to cannonball into some Jamaican funk stuff that'll blow people's minds that are never tried it before, right? Ease them into the whole thing, and then the great community and the history. I love about the history aspect of that too. So, like you said, and
well, I was thinking of the person in the store, and they're looking at all those bottles of rum. I think a lot of the magic, the selling, the craft that's going on. I read this article today about how the rum industry is mirroring what the tequila industry did with all the different craft tequilas, you know, decade or so ago. When you meet these owners and you you're talking to them, it does make a difference when you're in that aisle, because you will consider, hey, I met them. They were a nice person. They enjoyed their product. Maybe I'll grab a bottle of this from my house. And that's what these tastings do. It's not just them pouring rum for you and you just walking around. It's actually meeting them, having a conversation with them, getting to know them, and them getting to know you. I think they enjoy it just as much, you know. So
yeah, no, there's a lot of times that if there's certain bottles, and you know, and like I said, we're not going to get into kind of certain topics, but you know, if I'm looking and I don't know, something's going to have to jump off the shelf for me to catch my eye, right? That I don't know, and I give it a try. Or like you said, if there's somebody, oh yeah, I remember so and so, I met them at the Key West Rum Festival, and let me give it a shot, and you know, support them, and because I made that connection. And I think that's huge, and that's always what I've always been about, is the people part, right?
Well, trendsetters, like I was talking to them upstairs, like we're setting up, they give 100% of their profit to veterans, right? So like there's other people like them that are doing different things, that are supporting people in the community. They're not just making rum. They're not just making like a mango pineapple rum. They're doing something with their outcome too. Paul Minta had some of his 250th anniversary rums that they were selling. He got the money, went straight to the Mark House, and the donation from those different things, all the, you know, everybody's donating pitching times and like stuff for the raffles and things like that.
Right.
So it's been pretty neat. Even our passport this year, you know, we did a passport with 25, I think, different bars, where we're trying to identify different drinks with each brand. And I think we can hopefully grow that each year. What does the passport do? It shows you where to go when you're turning pages and what the drinks are. It lets you vote for your favorite one with a QR code. You get them stamped. But you know what else it does? It gives you some direction, and it welcomes the bars. Like I want the bars to see us coming into their bar and saying, hey, I'm with the Rum Fest. Here's my passport. They don't they make that association. Yeah, they are Rum Fest people, and they are here, and they are supporting our bar. And remember, I'm trying to get people here for National Rum Day, helping people with disabilities, but also to help the local bars, restaurants, people who live here. It's really slow in August. You know, October through March, April, it's really hard to get a room for under $1,000. It's very pricey, but in the summer, it's the cheapest time to come, and you can get down here. You can get into a restaurant, and the people who live down here really need that income. So it's been, I think, a pretty good blessing for the workers down here as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, it's as I always talk about, a lot of the symbiotic relationship between, you know, that's why I ended up just rebranding the whole podcast channel as B3, you know, brands, bands, and booze, you know, again, you know, as it is because, you know, during COVID, and you learn a lot about it. It's like, well, the bars are suffering. Well, then the liquor companies are suffering. Well, today they're maybe suffering a little bit more because of some things, but, you know, then the musicians are in there too, because that all is all part of it, right? So, you know, as you mentioned, there's a lot of local musicians that perform at the Key West Rum Festival. You know, you got to go and patronize the bar, buy some drinks. That helps the artist, so there's all part of that goes into those kinds of things too. But
events like these hopefully will help these brands. You know, I think everybody's seeing that there's a difference in what products are being consumed by the younger generation, which is, I think, the conversation that we've all read about. Well, you got to welcome in. You have to welcome in the younger generations and have events that they would like to do, build these next round of rum drinkers who are not just drinkers, but we're history people. We love the history of all the Battle of Trafalgar and Hemingway and all these different fun stories that you get to learn about, you know, being rumbunctious, and, you know, where does the word come from in Barbados, and all these different privateer type of things that you get to learn. Let's teach that younger generation, welcome them in, and then maybe they'll be part of what we enjoy with our community. And that's one thing that Bob did, is he trained people like me, and then, you know, I took it and ran with it from there. But without people like that, then you're not going to get the next generation. So hopefully we get the next generation also having these great relationships.
Cool. So, all right. So that's, you know, I'm all in, and, you know, and I've shared with some thoughts with you about, you know, how I can help support, be involved, and so forth. I think, you know, obviously it's a little slow start now that we're on less than a year, right, Neil? You're less than 365 days away into next year, right?
The other day, I was like, it's 50 weeks till Rum Fest. It's 50 weeks, but I'm counting down Christmas. But yeah, so I do need help, and I posted this yesterday. Anybody listening or does listen to this, I put my number even with the post. If there's a brand that you enjoy, I got a buddy in Oregon who's trying to get a brand from Oregon here. If there's a brand anywhere that could come, that wants to come, you're invited. Would love to have you. Let's try to find a place for everybody. Let's try to make sure that it's not just the same, people you see every year, and that it's fun and interesting and new. Yeah.
Is it I don't know if I want to, again, kind of spill, but you kind of said a company there or a brand. Is their initials JR?
Oh, for some of the newer ones.
No. Okay, so maybe it was somebody else then. Okay, yeah, because I've got somebody. John in the chat here is talking about seeing some stuff in there, like because he saw on the shelf here the Just Rum shelf is on the back bar here. So, and they're up in John Hasbrook, and Just Rum is up in Oregon. So yeah, maybe if you a brand I might have interest in so
Love
forth.
to have them. Love to have them.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more than one rum brand in Oregon, but it's funny thinking about there are rums out there in California. And throughout the world, it's not just the Caribbean. I've even hit a lot. There's German rum brands, there's Scottish rum brands, there's English rum brands. Like the whole story of sugar, guys. If you get a chance, learning where sugarcane grew and how it made its way around the world, and then realizing when we got to Hawaii that it had been there for a couple thousand years, like 30 or so different species. That's an amazing story. That's the story of the world. People love sugar and where it goes, and that's kind of what we're still chasing, right?
Yeah.
It's the story of the world.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's everything.
Right. Everyone thinks it's just somewhere in a hot climate is where all the rum is made. It's like, no, that is far from the truth, right? Whether it's privateer as an example up in Massachusetts or others up in Oregon or even Scotland, right? If I had a guest on from Scotland, a few years ago, right? Yeah, you're right. It's like, sourcing the product, maybe the cane or the sugar came from one place, but distilling it is a whole nother thing, right? It can be made anywhere in the world for that matter. So
I just joined this Discord group. I met this guy, Bob, and there's a Discord group of rum people. I've learned more in the 2 weeks of being on that Discord thread than I probably have learned. It's some of it's hard to understand because it's a little more nuanced than what you would see like on Facebook, things like that. But it's another place where you meet a different group of people who are connected and being part of that, and hopefully inviting them in, but also learning from that group as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. So so cool. Yeah, I know you're up on time. How are you doing on time?
You tell me. I'm good. Any other questions you got?
Yeah, let's see here. So like I said, so John's giving you a hard time, or not John, Anthony was giving you a hard time about the Mariah Carey stuff. John Molesworth was just talking about they met Just Rum through Just Drinking, the guys over in that show, and I know their show a couple weeks ago they had talked up about the Key West post Key West Rum Fest. So I don't know if you've met with those. With I think they talk. Those guys are based in. I'm drawing a blank now. What's right next to Wisconsin? Yeah, that's the state next to it. But
Michigan or Minnesota.
I think it's to the west of it. So I'm drawing a blank now on not Wisconsin.
One thing I do want to mention while it popped in my head while you're thinking about that. The people who attend our Rum Fest as brands, and what it costs to come here. I try to promote your products all year for free. So if you're part of it and I see something in our story, I'll share it proactively all year to the group of the number of people that I told you that are looking at our pages. But I also, if you tag me or text me and ask me to post something, I'll post it for you. I want us to support you. I think if we all support each other, that that's where the magic's going to be in making it all work for everybody. So if you come, I don't want it to be that you're just here a weekend and that's all you get. Hopefully we have a relationship all year and that we build on that as well.
100%. Yeah. It was Iowa, right? Those guys were in Iowa. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great point, Neil, right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be just August It doesn't have to be one time of the year. It's all year round, and to kind of build, keep learning, growing. Hey, have you heard about this or tried this or some of these rum clubs that exist? And so John was asking here if will either of us be at Boston Rum Week? I won't be, so I don't know if you got any plans to go to Boston Rum Week?
I was telling Jeff Barry, I've never been to a rum festival other than my rum festival. So, I was considering, maybe next October. I'm going to be in Yost Van Dyke this October for a week, but maybe next year try and maybe go to the UK one. And I was talking to Jeff maybe about going out to the Tales of the Cocktail, in New Orleans. He has Latitude 29 there in New Orleans, and so those are probably the next two in my mind of where I'm going to be.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a travel soccer dad now, so like I'm every weekend I'm driving up somewhere with the boys.
Yeah, you're on the road, right? So, yeah, there's a lot there. Although there's a lot of great events that happen here, and especially different things that aren't so much like tiki events that are do focus, do have rum aspects of it, but it's very tiki based or so forth. Or like even the Mai Kai. I went to the Mai Kai for the first time there back in the end of last year. Had a great time. A bunch of friends took the Bright Line down to Fort Lauderdale. Had a great time. They all had a great time. Talked to a few of the folks that were there. It's like this is a very historic. A lot of aspect of this place. But yeah, just again, it's all about enjoying, having a great time. The people you're with. Have a couple cocktails, rum cocktails with them. And then, just making some of the solid connections. So
we were talking before the podcast started about maybe trying to get a group together at the Mai Kai before the holidays. I texted Corey about that. If anybody's interested in that, I'll be posting that if something comes out of it. Okay. I don't care if it's 5 people or whatever.
Yeah.
But just let's wrap up the year, enjoy each other. I genuinely like. If you know me, it feels like a family reunion, and like once I know you. I'm on. So, I'd love to see whoever would like to come and have some drinks with us, enjoy the end of the year. Maybe we can do something like that. I have had some different opportunities from different things. We talked about, do we do some travel trips? Whenever I get some permissions from that later, I'm going to be posting about when we can. I've got like 200 names of people that want to do some trips. So maybe there's something in the world there that when it's safe and we can start doing some more traveling again.
Yeah, for sure. So we going to do this Dolphins tailgate thing. We got to talk to the ringleader Ringo
of golfing.
No, the Dolphins trip.
The Dolphins, Detroit Lions. Yeah. I think that's in. Oh, let me show you something. I think I got it right here. So. This is something I'm busting out new. I did a Facebook post about it, but I do have my new Rum, my Dolphins jersey. I'm ready for the game, everybody. So
there you go.
We're gonna be like 4 and 13 this year or whatever. But that's my Rum One jersey. Ian Burrell.
Reason to drink.
Yeah, Ian saw it. He's like, I want one. I was like, all right, I'll ship you one out there. But I was like, maybe I should do something else. I was like, you can't take mine. People think you originated the Rum One. That's me, bro.
Yeah. You're number 2. I'm number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go first. So, So, do you have dates for 2027?
Yeah, we do. So, it's gonna be wrapping up. 13th, 14th. That's the Friday, Saturday. So the 15th. This year will be the Sunday, right? So we'll be ending the 15th. It looking like around the 11th through the 15th are those days. If I can do the Monday, Tuesday with trips or something like that, I will. Those are more catered, nuanced things that I do with those. But all of our information is on rumfestkeywest.com. I do updates, post warnings. Hey, tickets are going on sale, and I try to give you enough notice there. I also like to push content throughout the year. Like today, I'll be doing my Mai Tai drink with my choices of my agricole and my Jamaican that I'm going to go with. I got a new almond orgeat or however everybody pronounces it. I'm in North Carolina, so I don't pronounce anything correct. But so I'll be posting that today, and keep in touch with us. Follow us on Facebook, social, Instagram. Questions, feel free to ask me questions. It doesn't bother me a bit. I text great. Text is the best way to get me, better than a phone call, because I can do that regardless what I'm any time of day. But those are always welcome to have. I can save you and my phone number, recall the conversation as well with a text.
Excellent. Yep. Yeah, I think that's how I had you in my phone for a long time, was Neil Key West. That was it.
Key West. That works.
Neil Key West.
How do I have you? I got you on here. Rums and Drums, Paul. That's how I have you on here. So
there you go. So, well, I guess I might see you in a couple weeks then, right? Up this way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be trying to head up that way soon. Yeah. So yeah. And then we have some other things going on. I'll be around Florida, rum related. So
okay.
You keep looking out.
Well, if I can get my shit together, we could talk offline. Then is trying to see if I can, maybe they can do some type of drums and rums kind of event or something, related to those things. So again, I know I've got less than a year now to kind of figure that out. I think it'd be kind of a cool thing to tie those two things together to definitely stay on brand, right? And kind of go from there. And then I think I got to talk to your tech guy, because we were talking about some things I was playing around with. That maybe it'd be a cool thing for next year's event to have to,
Go live.
give away. Yeah. Don't want to get give away too much stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
cool. Good ideas. We know what we're doing. So yeah, year 4. There may be a hint on social media of some things I'm working on with that 4. But other than that, yeah, keep in touch with me, and always great seeing you, Paul.
Yeah, you got it. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in to Drums and Rums there. So don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or if you're watching on Facebook, either way, follow us, follow on social media. Again, this is our first podcast of the year. We're back into it. I took a big hiatus. I've dropped a few episodes here and there that were, a little bit taped and recorded at a certain time, like about a month ago with Papa Pilar episode with Sean, and but I'm trying to get back into it because I've been podcasting other things. So again, we got a lot of other great podcasts, part of the B3 podcast network. Your Jams and Cocktails is one of our sister podcasts, part of the network as well. Again, it's all about drinking, music, having a good time. And so yeah, check that out there. Neil, appreciate you coming on here, doing a little rewind, sharing a little bit of what to expect next week. So here, there's Jams and Cocktails in the chat. They're awesome chat, you guys. We got to get down there for Rum Festival next year. All right, you're gonna put on notice, right? So you got a year, Brad. Got a year locked.
Yeah, man, we got a year, so got a lot of things popping. Yeah,
that's right.
Come on down. He's got the old school Conch Rum Public, so we got the trademark on Conch Rum Public. That's the initial. That's the first one that dropped. This is the newest version, so we're evolving, right?
So I'm gonna have to hit the website to order some stuff, because I know we didn't get to the tasting there. I guess where most of this merch.
We had hats, the hats. I do have a couple hats here. This is what the trucker hat looked like this year, trying to mimic this, so I'll wear it, right? Yeah. So that's our local Ramona's does the Key West Rum Fest hat. We also have some sun visors that are
okay. There you go.
And but like t-shirts and stuff like that take up a lot of space, so it's easier to have the print to ship that we do on our merchandise link. So you can pick any color, any size. You can do a pink shirt if you want, double X pink shirt, and they'll have it. So and I have like 20 different shirt types that you can pick of designs. People like different things. So.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, then. All right. So we'll wrap this thing up here. Again, appreciate the Key West Rum Festival 2026 Rewind. And can't wait till next year again. So happy Mai Tai Day, and see y'all next time. Thanks, Neil.
These are the rum. All right, y'all be good.
All right. Bye. All right, cool. All right. So we're